Hello guys, it's me, Greed here. I've had a couple of days to nosy over the spotlight, the changes they made, things they spoke about, and I've decided that I want to do a quick little video going over kind of everything, because I already made a video about the perks. A lot of people were saying, especially Avril on Twitter was saying that I hate the game because I criticized perks and said the game wasn't the way it used to be, which, like, no offense, might be the most retarded thing I've ever heard. But anyway, let's continue, shall we? So I already spoke about perks. I personally don't really think they feel all that Overwatchy to me. I might end up being wrong. You never know. I've been wrong before. Been wrong plenty of times. Sometimes I've been so wrong that I've gone back on a thing that I said was terrible and I actually ended up really liking it. One of them was the healing passive. I initially thought, yeah, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to hate this. And now I wouldn't be able to play without it. So there you go. Maybe perks will be like that too. And maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I will be. I really do hope, because I love this game and I really don't want the perks to fuck it up. Anyway, rank reset. Here's the thing about rank resets. I personally love rank resets. I think a big issue with rank resets, though, is depending on how often they happen, you kind of have to change the rank system to adapt to it to some degree. For example, if you're getting a rank reset every season, like a full MMR reset where everyone's going back to gold or something, then you have to make ranking up a lot easier. You have to make it a much quicker process, because otherwise people that don't have a lot of time to play will just never get to the correct ranking time. So you have to make ranking up quickly. But also, Overwatch doesn't do MMR resets. They just do, like, display rank resets. I know a lot of people are going to be, but they got rid of the hidden MMR. No, they didn't. I don't care what you say. I disagree. Anyway, basically, the rank reset we're going to get is going to be essentially what I believe anyway. I could be wrong, but the rank reset I believe we're going to get is kind of like a display rank. So if you're GM now, you're going to get put back to diamond. And if you're diamond now, you'll get put to the bottom of the plat. And if you're in gold, you probably just go down a couple of display rankings in gold. If you're silver, you might stay the same. If you're bronze, you might stay the same. But otherwise, if you're at the upper end, you're going to get crushed down a bit. And if you're in the middle to the bottom end, you're probably not going to move very much. And I think that's fine. I personally like full-on MMR resets where everyone resets to gold and they have to fight their way through it. But to have something that, again, like I said, you have to make it so ranking up is a lot faster, which you don't have in Overwatch, unfortunately. So there's that. I am looking forward to the rank reset, though, because the ranked mode is fucking broken right now. There are so many awful players in GM and Masters. It's unreal. It's so bad. Anyway, there's the galactic weapon skins. I am a doomer, and I thought these were going to be ugly, and I saw them, and I was genuinely hyped. They actually took my mind off perks for a second. Now, I'm not like a skins Andy. I don't really care about skins. I've played this game for way too long. I have thousands of hours, over 10,000 hours. I don't care about the skins. I've seen all of them apart from all the new ones, obviously. Hundreds, if not thousands of times. I don't really care. Skins aren't for me personally. However, those galactic weapons were fucking cool. I can't lie. They were cool. And I do look forward to them. And I'm even saving up comp points on one of my accounts that doesn't have full comp points. My main account is like fucking something ridiculous, like 18,000 comp points on it. Or something silly. It might even have more than that. But the other account, the top 500, by the way, account that I'm playing on in this video, has like, I think, 0. So I'm actually saving them for the galactic skins. I look forward to them. I don't think loot boxes are coming back. A lot of people are weirdly disappointed with loot boxes coming back. I don't really understand. Me personally, I've never had an issue with loot boxes, even while you could buy them. I obviously understand why people would have an issue with them. It is gambling to some degree, especially for Overwatch skins. I get why, but I don't think it's that difficult to just not buy them if you don't want to. Like, people are free to do whatever they want with their money, you know what I mean? I'm very much of, it's your money, you spend how you want. Maybe some people are less mentally willed, perhaps, than others, and they struggle to not buy loot boxes. So I think in that respect, maybe buying them is bad. Sure. But anyway, the loot boxes coming back are completely free, can't buy them, and they just give you free shit. I love that. Great change. Huge change. So far, every change is great. apart from Perks, which I personally dislike. Though I realize the consensus so far is that I'm the one in the minority and I'm the one that's wrong. So it is what it is. Overwatch Classic is coming back, I think in season 15 or 16, I don't know, with the GOATS meta. I personally loved GOATS. Now, this is going to sound weird. I played Genji, Zarya, and Ana almost exclusively during GOATS meta. So I did not participate in GOATS very much, unless I was on tank, obviously. And I would usually play outside of the GOATS. And people would avoid me and get very mad at me for that. But sometimes I'd conform and play the actual GOATS meta. Or in scrims, we'd be running actual GOATS. And that's fun. I thought GOATS was fun for 2 months. I thought GOATS was fun as well because you could actually play Genji in it to some degree, and ranked, obviously. You weren't scrimming a tier 2 team and getting away with playing Genji GOATS. It just wasn't happening. Genji was really quite bad. But in ranked, you could, and I thought it wasn't that bad. So I'm looking forward to playing GOATS again. As crazy as that sounds. The only reason GOATS wasn't fun for a lot of people is because it was a meta for way too long. It should have been a thing for 2 months, and then it was gone. But unfortunately, it was longer than that, and it is what it is. Now, there is a Zen Mythic. Again, I am not a skins person. I don't really care about skins. However, this one I actually didn't like. Now, usually with skins, they can be pretty damn ugly, and I don't really care. Or they can be really nice, and I don't really care. That one I actively disliked. I don't like it. Although I know a lot of people that do like it, so I'm glad they like it. I do like the gold color in it. I like it in the gold color. That was cool. But yeah, Zen Mythic, not for me, but cool animations and cool sounds. That's for sure. Like when he reloads and the fucking thing happens, he goes with the sound when he collapses the sounds. That was pretty cool. Next thing, hero bands. I'm about to rustle some feathers here. I personally do not like hero bans. However, before you get mad, I do understand they are objectively good for games like these. They do improve the overall experience and the competitive integrity of these kinds of games, and you should almost certainly have hero bans in your game. Now, the reason I personally don't like them is for the same reason that I think one-tricking is fine. I like to play the hero that I like to play, and if the hero I like to play gets banned when I want to play it, doesn't feel very good. And I'm sure no one is arguing that it does feel good. However, that's just something I like. Maybe like 6 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, hero bans were sick when I was taking the game super seriously. I was super competitive. But now, I just want to get into ranked and play my hero. And it kind of sucks. Like, imagine I'm queuing in GM and I queue 30, 40 minutes for a game, and then they ban Genji. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to play some Genji, dog. And then I have to go, okay, then I'll play like fucking Echo for 10 minutes or whatever. And then I'll queue another 40 minutes, and then if they ban Genji again, it's like, I just don't really want to play. You know what I'm saying? So I get it for the majority. Great change. Me personally, I want to play the hero I want to play, and I don't want to be forced by a hero ban. Though I do understand they are good for the game. Map voting, this is just a huge win. I mean, some of the maps in this game are genuinely just so bad. They are so... I need to do a new map tier list again. Some of them are genuinely so bad. Basically, any poke map in the game is straight garbage. I don't think any of them are any fun, especially Havana. Havana is a war crime in map design. It's so bad. It is so bad. Though, I will say, back to hero bans, I will be banning Widowmaker every game. Every game. I don't care what map we're on. I don't care how good or bad she is in the meta. I don't care if I have a Widow one trick on my team. I don't care. I am trying to ban Widow. I will be doing my utmost to ban Widow. Fuck that character. But yeah, map voting, very cool. I'm a big fan of map voting. I'm looking forward to it being like, hopefully it's not just like it doesn't pick a game mode and you have to vote in that game mode. Hopefully it's like maybe there's a hybrid map, and then maybe there's a push map, and then maybe there's a flashpoint map or something. Or maybe there's 2 flashpoint maps and a hybrid map. It should be kind of lame if it picked a game mode and you have to pick a map in that game mode. That'd be kind of lame. I'd like if they just kind of gave us some ability to pick the game mode too with the map that we picked. So there's that. Weapon charms for ranked, like ranked charms. If you get plat or above, you get a ranked charm of the rank and the role you were in that rank, if you know what I'm saying. So if you're like champ on DPS, you'll get this cool little purple charm that's all like glowing shit, and it will have the DPS logo on it, and it will be a big champ logo, and you can put it on your gun as your weapon charm. Super cool. This should have been a thing years ago. Years ago. A lot of these changes should have been a thing years ago. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Overwatch is nervous because of Marvel Rivals. That's obviously true to some degree. Do I think all of these things are just because of Marvel? No, I think they had a lot of these things already, not necessarily ready to go, but had started working on them and had them on the back burner and were doing other shit. And then when Marvel Rivals was announced and the beta started coming out, they're like, oh fuck, okay, we're gonna pick up some of these things, and they start working on it, and then it just so happens that by the time Overwatch or Marvel Rivals came out, they were done with a lot of the shit that they were prepping for. But I imagine the announcement of Marvel Rivals did make them quake a bit and make them start working on the shit that should have been in the game a long time ago. But weapon charms, I love them. Great addition, super cool. I kind of wish they were for all ranks, though I kind of understand why they wouldn't. For example, really high rank players would think it was funny if they had like a bronze charm. So they deranked a bronze for a season and then get a bronze charm because they thought it was funny, which to be fair is funny. But I can see why they wouldn't do that. They'll just do it in plat instead. Well, I'll do it in plat. I'm fine with that. Next thing. Oh yeah, hero bans and the map voting are exclusive to competitive. Good change. The new hero information, the super in-depth stats for all the heroes. So, you know how on the F1 menu, I'm pretty sure it's F1, where you pick a hero, you press F1, it kind of just tells you what the abilities are, kind of. It's not super in-depth. There is new super in-depth numbers. It tells you all the cast times, it tells you the damage numbers, DPS, everything. Everything down to each individual number that might mean something. It tells you, which is a wonderful change. Again, should have been in the game such a long time ago. I will say, not to be like negative Nancy, so much of this shit should have been in the game ages ago. There's really no excuse for it taking 9 years to update hero information. That does not seem like something that's very difficult. You just copy and paste it from the wiki. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really not that high effort. You've already got the F1 screen, just change the text on it. Maybe I'm not a game dev, so maybe it's magically really complicated to do that for some reason. I don't know, but it just doesn't seem like it would be that hard. But I don't know. You never know. 6v6 competitive queue, I've got an issue with this. It's coming. I'm glad it's coming. Thank God it's coming. However, the 6v6 competitive queue, again, it's not what we asked for. It's going to have the Season 9 changes in it. It's likely going to have the perks in it. And it's just like not going to be the game we had. Now, a big thing that people kind of forget is when I'm talking about 6v6, it's not just the format I'm talking about, it's also the way the game felt, the way the game played, the way the game flowed, how the heroes interacted with each other, how the game actually was. Because a big thing with how the game is today is, and this is why what Avril said on Twitter was a bit silly, is because in my video about perks, I said that Overwatch has strayed too far away from what original Overwatch was, and therefore Overwatch isn't for Overwatch players. I would consider an Overwatch player someone that had been around through the kind of more original years, the first like 3-4-ish years of the game. It may probably 3 years of the game. Not to say that that's like some fan club or cool club or something, and if you're not part of it, you're lame. But that's what I was referring to when I said Overwatch players, because that's what original Overwatch was. That's what the original design of the game was. That's how the game was built to be played in that moment. Therefore, I would consider that the game. We've changed the game so fundamentally to the point where they're so vastly different that calling them both the same game is just objectively incorrect. So him going at me on Twitter about how like I hate the game or something because I don't think Overwatch today is whatever, that's just silly. It's just silly. It's just silly. Listen, I respect Avril. I disagree with a lot of things he says, but I respect that he keeps it real. But yeah, that was a silly take in my opinion. It is what it is though. Yeah. So the competitive queue for 6v6 is gonna be dog shit. I already know it is. People call me a doomer. It's true. Another thing, I don't have to be like, I'm gonna sound like such a crybaby here, but so many people tell me they're like, oh, I'm wrong. I hate the game. I just say shit to be mean. I just complain for views, which is just fucking silly, but anyway, people believe that. I genuinely, here's the thing, is I'll always say, when people say I'm wrong about something, I'll say, okay, why am I wrong? You know, explain. If I'm wrong, you can tell me why I'm wrong. You can't just say I'm wrong, you know what I'm saying? I've explained why I think I'm right, you can explain why you think I'm wrong. I've never, not once, ever, have I ever received a reply where someone actually told me I was wrong. If they ever reply, which is insanely rare, But if they ever do reply, it's always that I'm an idiot, or like a toddler could figure out why I'm wrong, or like he shouldn't need to explain it to a top 500 player, or just some fucking like bullshit like that so he can get out of explaining it. Which, fair enough, you don't have to reply to me if I ask you why I'm wrong. We're just two people on the internet. It's not a big deal. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, I would love for people to tell me why I'm wrong. Because so many people told me why I'm wrong about my last video about Perks, about how it's not original Overwatch. Okay, tell me how it is. I would love for someone to tell me in detail about how this current iteration of Overwatch is remotely anything like the first 3 years of Overwatch. I'm sorry, I personally believe you can't, because they are just so fundamentally different, but it is what it is. Anyway, back to the shit. So 6v6 competitive queue will be dog shit, because it's got all the Overwatch 2 garbage in it, unfortunately. We're never getting Overwatch 1 back, sadly. Well, maybe we will, but looking like we won't, and that's sad to me, because that's the game I love. New hero, Freya. The most generic looking design I've ever seen. It just looks like a woman in a jacket. It's a woman in a jacket, and that's the hero. Cool. They look pretty strong. Design wise, like how their fundamental design was, not necessarily the numbers, but their design looks pretty strong. Decent amount of mobility, a lot of verticality. Her ult is a mini grav pulse bomb combo, which seems a bit ridiculous, but never know. Maybe it'll end up being garbage. I don't know. I didn't see anything in the hero necessarily that I thought was fundamentally flawed from like a design perspective. Like, you're not going to be able to balance that. The design is just inherently bad for this kind of game. I don't believe I saw anything. I think she's got a Sojourn railgun that explodes or something. I'm not going to lie. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of really anything hit scan. I think it incentivizes playing at really long ranges, which a lot of the abilities and heroes don't work at super long ranges. So it's just kind of like an artificial way to get around some characters is just to stand really far back. I don't really like it. Maybe she will end up not being like that. Maybe she'll end up being a brawler, not a poke hero. She kind of looked like a poke hero, though, unfortunately. But it is what it is. You know, maybe she'll end up being fun. The next hero, Hero 44, apparently, I think he's called Aqua. I don't know. Chinese guy with a staff. He actually looked cool. He had, like, armor and shit on his... He had, like, gauntlets. Or like bracers, which weren't really a real thing, by the way, but they had like bracers, and he looked pretty cool, and he had a staff. Cool. I don't know what he's gonna be. Maybe a melee character, maybe he's a beam hero, maybe he's a support hero. I have no idea. Genuinely no idea. It doesn't say anything. Anyway, there's a season 16 Freya trial going on, or no, season 15 Freya trial, because she's recently releasing in season 16, so you can trial her in season 15, kind of like how you did all the other heroes like Juno and Malga and stuff. They kind of let you play the hero early for a little bit, which was cool. New game mode, Stadium. This is that goofy Counter-Strike Valorant mode where you like buy upgrades and stuff, and it's super long. I think it's best to 7, so it's like first to 4, I guess. First to 4 point. You play. So it's the best of 7. So you could potentially play 7 maps. So that's like over an hour of gameplay, I think. Because I think you could play like a hybrid map, and then you could play like a push map. I may be wrong. I have no idea. But that's the one with third person and like the shop where you like buy upgrades and shit. That does not look good, in my opinion. Again, it strives so far from what I consider Overwatch. I'll probably play 2 games of it and say, not for me. You know, not for me. It's probably for someone, but it's not for me. Something I'm concerned about is how will that game mode handle leavers? Like, what if you're like 40 minutes into your game and then someone leaves? Do you just like accept that the last 40 minutes were completely pointless? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it's going to handle leavers, but it's only a competitive game mode, I believe. There's no casual queue for it. So there's a ranked game mode. It's got its own individual rank, its own individual MMR, which is cool, I guess. Not for me, but I'll try it for sure, and maybe it will be being for me. But it looks silly. It just kind of looks like a silly, goofy ad kind of thing. There's no push maps. I fucking hate push. Push is the worst. It's not the worst game mode in the game, but it's really fucking bad. I hate push. So there's no push maps, which is terrible because that means I'm more likely to get push. The season 15 skin for Widowmaker, the mythic skin, looks really good. However, I fucking hate Widowmaker. So we're going to move on. There's a bunch of Gunnar, Kumar cosmetics where it's like all the like quote unquote like super pretty female characters and like really small tight dresses like with really short skirts and shit. It's just like Coomer shit. It is what it is. I got nothing to say about it. I don't care. The season 16 Mike Tyson Mercy mythic weapon for Mercy for the Mercy mythic weapon for Mercy the Mercy mythic weapon for Mercy. It looks fucking dog shit. It's got like a teddy bear. It looks terrible. It looks actually terrible. That's all I got to say. Season 17 mythic for Diva looks really cool. I like it. Coomer skin again. The baby Diva is a Coomer skin. The rest of it's very cool. By the way, that's not me insulting Coomer skins. It's their game. They can do whatever the fuck they want with their Coomer skins. I don't care. They probably end up selling more. The game will, if they sell Coomer skins, they'll make more money, and the more money they make, you hope they make bigger improvements to the game. So Coomer all the way. The Reaper mythic weapon, a little generic looking, but cool nonetheless. I think it's cool. It's got like flame effects on it and shit. I like it. Cool. Another K-pop collab. I don't give a shit about these collabs at all. My game's turning into Fortnite with these collabs and shit. Listen, if they print money, they make a shitload of money for Blizzard, and Blizzard puts that back into the game, then I can only support it. Because I want the game to be good, and typically the more money you have, the easier it is to make a better game. So I don't give a shit about collabs at all. Literally at all. Or at least I don't have any desire for them, if you know what I mean. I actively dislike them to some degree. They just don't feel... Listen, this is totally my opinion. Well, obviously, this whole video is my opinion, but when I say I don't like them, it's not like I have something against them, or they just don't feel right in this game. You know what I mean? They just don't feel right. Call me wrong. Say I'm wrong. That's fine. I'll totally accept that that's just a purely subjective thing. For me personally, they don't feel like they should be in the game, though I do understand they make a shitload of money for Blizzard, so Blizzard loves doing it. All good. The esports stuff, I don't give a shit about it, to be honest. You might. I don't really care. I don't even really have like a long list of the esports stuff. I don't care. Oh, the China and Australia shit too. China is coming back to Overwatch, and they're getting a WCS team or something. And Australia gets to play in Pacific Asian region. They're never getting a team through that. Maybe they will. More map reworks. Thank God. A lot of the maps are really bad. Really, really bad. I should make a video where I actually go over the design. Like, I'll spend like an hour on each map going over all the pain points of the map, why I don't like them and stuff like that. How the map flow works to them. Because a lot of people, when I say like a map's bad, a lot of people don't get it. Because I guess they just don't understand why the map's so bad. So I'll make a video like going into in-depth detail on why certain maps are so bad, why they feel so bad. There's all those Tokyo maps or whatever, right? They're cool looking. They look cool. I don't know what they are, but they look cool. And that Atlantic map too, that looks cool. Cool looking maps, for sure. They might not be great, but... Apparently Juno's getting a mythic in Season 16. Maybe. I don't know. Apparently. I don't actually remember. The list says she is. So I assume she is, but that also might not be true. Though, I will say, people made it seem like I didn't like the Overwatch Spotlight, or I thought it was bad. The Spotlight was fantastic. Oh, another thing I forgot to bring up. The rank badges on your little profile. Your little thing in the bottom left. Remember in Overwatch 1, you'd have like the silver border and your rank there. Like if you had the top 500 rank, it was top 500 in your position, like 235 or whatever, right there in the bottom left all the time. That is coming back. So if you can have like different borders and you'll have your rank displayed on your border. Fucking wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful. Though I also saw some shit on Twitter. Probably fake because it's on Twitter. I hate Twitter. Twitter's the worst place for a human being to be. Anyway, apparently they're testing like cards, new endgame cards. A screenshot leaked of it. Probably bullshit. I don't know. Looked pretty good. Didn't look like original cards that much. Had a like cooler aesthetic to it. Cool. If they add cards, I'd be cool with that. My big issue with cards is they are a moment for people to socialize, yet Overwatch is the least social game I've ever seen in the past couple of years. The lack of communication basically all the time is insane. I think I get a player in my game speaking, because people will say, well, they said a word, they spoke, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be in the spawn room, I'll say hello team, and they'll say hi, and they'll never say a word for the rest of the game, you know what I'm saying? I think I get a player that genuinely talks throughout the game, or comms, even just talks, like talking about nonsense with me. maybe 1 in every 10 games, there's one person talking. That's insane. That for a game that's apparently team-based and team-reliant, there's an unbelievable amount of antisocial behavior in this game. Mainly because of the report system, everyone's scared of getting banned, so people just don't talk to each other. But it is what it is. I wish people did talk to each other, and they don't. But that is what it is. So, things that I like about it, basically everything. Basically everything in it I liked. I do not like the 6v6 test because they're going to do the perks and shit in it, and they're going to do Season 9 in it, and they're going to do the Clash maps and the fucking Flashpoint maps and those maps, the bad maps that are not built for 6v6 in any way at all. But perhaps people are going to disagree with me and say they actually work fine. I don't think they work fine at all. So I'm not excited for the 6v6 test. I will be exclusively playing it while it releases because the format's just superior. However, it's not, again, what people mostly say when they say 6v6. People say 6v6, they're not just talking about the format. They're talking about the way the game played in said format. They're talking about the way the game actually was during that format, because there's been a lot of changes to the game that, although are Overwatch 2 related, you know, Season 9, like I brought up earlier, and the other shit, it doesn't matter how good the format is. Some of the shit they added to the game, it's just objectively bad. Season 9 is just an objectively bad change. It lowered the skill ceiling and upped the skill floor, which meant they removed a lot of solo carry potential from the game from doing so you can't solo carry as much anymore, which is obviously not a good thing, especially in a game that's so antisocial that requires people to be team-based. Therefore, solo queue players got fucked, and team, like, big groups improved because of it. Just very silly. Lots of very, very silly things. That and the perks. I don't know how perks are going to work in 6v6. They might end up being terrible. They might end up being fantastic. I don't know. But again, it's not original Overwatch. It's not actually what Overwatch is. I do not understand. Like, I'll bring it up again. I do not understand how people disagreed with that video. And no one told me why. Not a single soul told me why they disagreed with what I said. Basically, what I said was the game has changed too fundamentally from the original vision of the game that I do not believe the current iteration of Overwatch is remotely like original Overwatch, to the point where I feel like they are different games, and that the original Overwatch player, the first 3 years or so of the game, is kind of getting fucked because the current iteration of the game doesn't play like that. It's too fundamentally different. Therefore, Overwatch isn't for Overwatch players, meaning Overwatch isn't for those original players anymore. They're for the new players. And I think over time, as you bleed old players by making big changes that old players don't like, old players are never something you're really going to get back a lot of the time. Old players tend to be your most die-hard community. They tend to be the most involved. They tend to be the most passionate. They tend to be the most everything there, committed. They tend to put in the most playtime. New players, maybe you'll snag like 30% of them and they'll turn into old-time players. But generally speaking, you're losing most of your new players. So it just feels weird to spec entirely into new players and just let your fucking old player base die. Now, there was a lot of old players that are still around. Me, for example. Avril, another one. Been around for a long time. There's lots of players that have been around for a very long time. But think about it. Think about OG Overwatch. Think about all the people we've lost over the time, right? There's so many people that have moved on. And a lot of them, the reasoning has been they just don't find the game fun anymore. They don't like how the game has changed over time. They don't like the balance. They don't like the fundamental changes. Don't like the maps. Don't like the game modes. Don't like whatever it may be. But a lot of the time, a lot of the reasoning behind disliking or moving on from Overwatch is that it fundamentally changed away from the game they enjoyed. And I completely agree with them. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you, I guess. I don't know. Thank you. Have a good day. I hope you're eating good food, like some spaghetti. Eat some spaghetti. Have a good day. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.